there are technical details and things like that, they will share all that. And you, of course, you are quite welcome to ask questions and comment. I mean, share your experience. Maybe you have seen other artwork in Italy, and you can share your experience as well. Everybody is invited and included. Thanks for visiting us. I think this will be a very interesting session, a very unusual one too.
Robin is here, so Robin, you can start.
Yes, we can start. Yes. So I'm okay.
Yeah.
So it's
everyone. It's so good to see you. And it's I mean, Clubhouse is always a great platform in the sense to share our thoughts. And especially, I mean, the topic for today is the 21st century masterpiece. I'm sure it's going to elicit interest.
Thank you, Robin. Robin, can you hold on a little bit? We're going to have how to start this, and then send you to set the room and before we officially start this interview.
Right. Yeah. It's just right on time. 6:30 now. 6:31 p.m. So we're going to get started. Okay. So yeah. Thanks everyone for joining us. Now this is the Asian Americans Network room on Clubhouse. We meet every Tuesday at starting at 6:30 p.m. California time, and the room is to serve Asian Americans and anybody who is interested in Asian culture, as well as anybody who has worked with Asians before, so it's fairly inclusive. And this room is designed every week for folks to come together, make connections and share stories. I think that's the best way we know for folks to get to know each other on a fairly personal basis and develop a trust by knowing more about each other through their stories. And we can make connections, help each other out, and maybe, folks who have something in common can do business together. That's the purpose of this room. Before introducing this week's topic, I would like to ask my co-moderator, Sethi, to set the room. Sethi, please.
Thank you, Hong. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Asian American Network. Today's event is a total of 1 to 1.5 hours. We will open Q&A after the guest speakers sharing. Please feel free to raise your hand, and if you have any question or if you want to echo and make a comment, we will invite you to the stage. By the way, we will record and live stream speaker's speech on the YouTube. The recording will be stopped when we start the Q&A. So everyone can go to the Ding TV YouTube channel and replay the video. So please follow us by clicking the greenhouse beside the club logo. You will get the event detailed information after we post it each time. So I will give you a very brief introduction about the organizer. This event is presented by Silicon Valley Innovation Channel, Ding TV. In the past 12 years, we have been focusing on brand building, innovation, and connecting entrepreneurs. So we also have a 4,000 square feet professional studio for rent in Santa Clara. It can be the video program or film production venue, and it is good for a small event as well. Please contact us on Instagram if you are interested. So this is Sandy, and done speaking. Over to Han. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sandy. So let me introduce our first speaker. We have multiple speakers. This is exceptional for this time. One exception is we're going to cover an hour and a half instead of 1 hour. And yes, so the first speaker I want to introduce is Robin Sethi. So Robin has dove into art and sculpture, to centuries-old traditions of this kind of art, dating back to Renaissance Italy with Michelangelo. So Robin is going to connect us, 21st century art is made during the time of COVID, but with traditions going all the way back for several hundred years. There are many key figures here today, and Robin will introduce them himself as well, and they will talk about this. And but Robin himself is a pivotal figure here, the chief coordinator of this particular project. The project is of building a holy sculpture statue of a saint 100 years ago, Indian saint 100 years ago. All the work is done in Italy with Italian tradition. With that being said, I'd like to invite Robin himself to come up and speak and kickstart tonight's talk. Thank you. Please, Robin.
Hello, everyone, and thanks, Hong, for giving the opportunity to reason out why we are saying it's from much for the infinite as is a masterpiece of the 21st century. So, as you said, I'm Robin Sethi, the chief coordinator of the art project from much for the infinite, which is happening in beautiful Italian city Pietrasanta for past 2 years. The project is about the making of colossal sculpture of Indian saint Yogi Raj Sarkar Godri Wale Sri Nand Lal Ji, who lived 100 years ago. The sculpture is in the making by master sculptor Nicola Steghetti. I'm associated with the Philanthropical Trust in India, and being the activate associate of the trust, back in early 2018, I, along with my team, was assigned the task to look for the sculptor who could carve colossal sculpture of the saint in about 3.3 meters in height. We had virtually reached out to all the sculptors of Pietrasanta and many from Rome as well. And the fact that the sculpture had to be done from the single photograph of the saint taken 100 years ago was the challenge enough for the sculptor to prove their skills. It was only Nicola who realized he would have to understand the biography of the saint if he were to capture the saint's radiating aura in his sculpture. So he even visited India twice for the purpose. And having worked relentlessly for about 6 months and following the single photograph, Nicola amazed us with the results in clay model to the perfection. That marked the beginning of recognition of the project Pramashwar the Infinite as masterpiece of 21st century. So when we visited Pietrasanta in 2019 to see his working in the clay model, we were flabbergasted to have noticed the felicitation ceremony organized by the city administration for the project. A big presentation was held to share the challenges involved in the project, like inviting galleries, art critics of the town, and there was an open invitation for all the admirers of art. After having completed the clay model, the master Nicola Steghetti started to work in single block of Carrara marble. The gigantic block of marble in 32 ton was mined from the best quarry in Carrara named Michelangelo Bianco, for which he had been on a lookout for about 6 months while he was working with clay. Nicola had since been working with diligence on the marble sculpture, scaling all the challenges that he faced while following the 100-year-old photograph of the same. In the year 2020, amidst pandemic, many reporters from Italian national journals such as La Repubblica, Torre, Finestre sulla Arte, and many others visited Steghetti's studio and covered the story. All of them were astonished to find a colossal sculpture is being carved from single photograph of the saint taken 100 years ago. Art critics from Milano such as Alberto Moioli, John Blasher, artists from Australia, Vicky Sullivan, Yulia Zelenskaya from Russia, Silvia Iorio from Umbria, and many others admire the project Pramashwar the Infinite as masterpiece of 21st century. In fact, the project has already been subject of learning for art school in Carrara, presided by Pier Giorgio Bellocchi. So that was a little briefing on the project, and there is a lot more to share. And I just want to add here that I can see Ina Love in the audience, like she's a US poet from California. She happened to be in Pietrasanta in 2019 when the unveiling ceremony of the clay model happened. She attended the event just as an art admirer then, but she got so influenced that she has been regularly following up the progress of the project. So maybe we may invite her anytime during the course of this session. So I think, Hong, we must welcome questions from the audience at this time. So yeah, back to you, Hong.
Yes, thanks, Robin. Really appreciate your kicking off the session. I also Nicola. I saw Nicola. Oh, he disappeared. I think Nicola Steghetti himself, actually. I'm sure he will come back. Yeah, normally we do follow the mic sequence. Absolutely. Thanks, Wesley and Anne and Liso for being here. I will invite you to join as well. But right now, since we are introducing the topic and we are recording, I would like to just have the main folks who have been involved with the project to talk first. Robin, I would like to invite Nicola, but he was here for a minute and then, okay, here he is actually. He's back. Okay, he's back. Let me invite him on stage and introduce him as well. Oops. There's a bit of an issue for now. There's a technical issue. Instead of waiting, in the meantime, let me introduce Inner Love. Actually, Robin, would you like to introduce Inner Love? Inner Love is a Californian artist, a poet and writer and philanthropist, actually. And Robin, would you like to say a word and then have Inner share your story with us about this work?
Yeah, sure. As I said, like when the Italian administration, the city administration, Pete Rosanta, in 2019, they had this big presentation of the unveiling of the clay model, and then she happened to be there. She happened to be there in Pete Rosanta's tourist. Obviously, we didn't know each other then. So as I said, the invitation was open. Okay, fine. Few galleries and the art critics were invited, but it was an open invitation for all, because obviously art doesn't have any language or any nationality barrier. So she happened to be there, and after having attended the presentation and seeing the clay model at Sethi studio, then she was so overwhelmed that she approached us. And she said, obviously she shared her experiences and everything. And as I already told you, she's a poet by profession. So she requested us if she could write a poem for the Holy Saint to express her heartfelt emotions. So probably at this point, I would like to hand over stage to Ina so that she can share all her personal experiences, whatever she felt. So Ina, if you're there.
Yes, hello, hi Robin, and hello everyone. I'm Ina Love. I'm a writer and poet. I live in Los Angeles, and I'd just like to share a little bit about how I came to be involved in this holy project. As Robin said, I happened to be in Italy. It was actually my birthday. I was there celebrating my birthday, and there was talk in the town of a sculpture being unveiled. And the sculpture was actually unveiled on my birthday, which I thought was just a beautiful synchronicity that I happened to be in this little town where Michelangelo once lived, and the same marble quarry where he used the marble to construct the famous Pieta, which is at the Vatican. So anyway, everyone in the town was speaking of this unveiling, and I decided to go. And the day of the unveiling, when I arrived at Maestro Spaghetti's studio, and at the time I saw the sculpture in clay model. I've not yet seen the marble version, but I was so moved by the sculpture had such a realness. When I saw the sculpture, I recall just looking at the sculpture and thinking, I felt as if I knew this man. And mind you, I had never heard of this saint. I didn't know Robin. I didn't know of Maestro Spaghetti, the sculptor. I knew nothing of this project. I merely went because the sculpture was being unveiled on my birthday, which I thought was amazing. But I was truly moved by just the likeness to realism. It was truly, when I looked at the sculpture, I felt as if I knew this man, and it actually moved me to tears. So I left the event. I don't think I met Robin that day, actually. He saw me, and apparently he noticed, as I said, that I was so moved in the presence of the sculpture. So the next day I was in the town, and Robin saw me, and he came up and said hello. He said, "Oh, you were at the unveiling ceremony yesterday." And I said, "Yes, I was." And I said, nice to meet you. And we went our separate ways. And then the following day, I wake up and I go downstairs at my hotel for breakfast, and Robin is there again. And he said, oh, you again. And we happen to be staying at the same hotel. So he and I both felt that, you know, we kept meeting for a reason. You know, we actually kind of said that it's like, gosh, we keep meeting. And I said, I feel there's something to this. So we exchanged contact information. Robin went back to Italy and I came back to LA, and we began communicating. And, you know, of course, he asked me, what do I do? And I expressed that I'm a poet. And actually, Robin, you asked me, if I could write a poem to express what I felt when I saw the sculpture. I remember this very clearly because I remember thinking like, wow, that's an unusual request. However, you know, I certainly can tap into what I felt when I saw the sculpture. So the poem that I wrote about the Holy Saint Prameshwar, you know, was my effort to express what I felt when I saw the sculpture of the saint, which I still recall very vividly. And since writing the poem, Robin, of course, has shared the poem with the grandson of the Holy Saint, who is still living. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, Robin, I believe you said that the poem was deemed sacred because it was written, you know, again about their holy saint. So I'm very honored to be a part of the project, and I certainly hope, you know, not only to return to Italy for the unveiling of the marble sculpture, and eventually to travel to India to see the sculpture at its resting place, which will be a holy shrine in India. So I'm just honored to be a part of this project, and I thank you all for having me.
Thank you so much, Ina. At this point, I would like to invite Maestro Nicholas Saghetti, if you can share a few words about, first of all, about your background and this particular work that you're working on. Thank you for joining us. It's a very late time in Italy. Thanks so much for joining us. It's okay right now. Oh, your voice is very low. Can you speak closer to the mic or something? Yeah, it's okay now. It's a little bit better. Yes. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, no, sure. Thank you. Okay. First of all, thank you all. And hello, everybody. Hello, Hina. It's very good to hear you again. So, yes, what to tell you about my life? My life is, of course, is all my life around the marble. I born in a city where the marble is everywhere, and where the people work on this material. So until when I was young, I learned a little bit. I learned of this magic work. So and I enjoy a lot during my life. So from when I was young, I moved on my parents' factory, because also my father did my same job, and we worked lots at that time over making a new church, so making decoration in marble over the church. But little by little, I changed myself to find a new story, a new reason of my work. So I moved around the contemporary art, and I moved also in to be able to create something to myself. And now is what I'm doing is I continue improving my ability to be able to follow the request of the people, of the artists, of the people that ask me to work. So this is my life, and from the moment I have involved in this project, that it was amazing from the beginning. From the beginning, it was amazing things, and we started like together with Robin and the other guys, Indians, friends. We started in a good way because everyone want to do a very, very special things at this moment. So they want, I understand they want a masterpiece, and everyone move in that direction. Great. Thank you so much for that introduction. And I think before I had known before, but now I learned, of course, that Pietrasanta is where the Carrara marble is found. That's the only place in the world, and that's really, this kind of marble is not found anywhere else. And Maestro Spaghetti is born in that particular tradition, as he said, from his father and grandfather. I want to focus a little bit that material, because that material for experience. We work lots of material that comes from all of the world, but that material is very unique and special for making sculpture. So it's not that material is not hard and it's not soft. So it's the best, absolutely, but the best for making sculpture. Very good. Thank you again. I would like to continue on that and ask Maestro Spaghetti, what are the particular challenges in working with in this particular piece, in this specific piece? What are the challenges you have to contend with in this work? It was from the beginning a big challenge to make a masterpiece, to make a very good work just by looking one photograph, because I had in my hands from the beginning just one photo, and black and white, not so clear, because it's an old photo. So from the beginning, it was amazing things. Not everyone can do, or are involved, are secure in getting Yes. Also, the marble. I think you acquired this particular single piece of marble. Is nice, and to be carved out in one piece, and also the fact that this is an Indian saint in Indian clothes, and perhaps that presented some sort of challenge uh, of that material to be conveyed in the statue. Can you comment on that as well in terms of the technical challenge specific to this piece? Can you comment on that, please?
Can you get?
Nicola, your sound is a little bit low. Yeah.
Okay. It's right.
Yeah, it's better now. Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
Okay. So I continue. Yes, I want to explain that everything was out of the ordinary. Also the material in the quarry. I want to explain the quarry. The mountain is not solid. Not solid. There is a lot of crack. Rock is broken. So sometimes it's different. It's difficult to find a unique big block. So in that case, we wait a lot of time. I go in the mountain every week, every week to check and see when my block come out. And I spend yes, it was long. So, but finally, at the last moment, the block come from the. So we are all. I call the Indian friends and I say that finally we have the block. So they come and we agree about the material together and we start. So this was also the big challenge for the story, for the marble. Great. Thank you so much, Maestro Sethi. One question I want to direct to Robin, the coordinator of the project. So you had mentioned that that for the project, you had wanted like the special to have the work done in Italy from Italian tradition. How did you get to select to find Maestro Spaghetti? Can you relate that story to us? How you ended up finding Maestro Spaghetti?
Oh well, I mean, yes, I remember it succinctly. I mean, I can go full day on that. But anyways, so yeah, I mean, back in 2018, as I told you, like I'm the chief coordinator, so I was just given the task along with my team to look for the sculptor. So in fact, it wasn't like we approached directly to Nicola Stilgetti because obviously we didn't know about it. We Googled it and we reached out to the various artists, and he was just one of them. And now, by the way, I mean, but that was one point. We understood in the beginning that challenge is gonna be humongous, as it's not easy in any ways to sculpt the posthumous sculptures, and that too with just 100 years old photograph. So we knew about the challenges. So, anyways, we reached out to all these sculptors, virtually all these sculptors in Pietrasanta. I mean, if I could name few, Cervi Di Franco, Massimo Melleni, and Toran. It's a big state-of-the-art studio. And then there was Giancarlo Burati, and there are many others, some from Rome, or Otello Stantiloni, and Alessandro Romano. All these names which I'm giving out, if you Google it, you will come to know how big these names are. And of course, Nicola Sethi. So they were given the task. So what I feel, the main difference between the Nicola Sethi and the other sculptors whom we approached, we found the approach. The approach how Nicola Sethi saw this project and the others, because all the other sculptors were basically focusing on replicating the facial contours of the saint from the photograph. Probably Nicola also was doing the same initially, but then sooner he realized he needs to understand the biography of the saint as well. So when at one point, all these sculptures, by the way, all these names which I mentioned and the other which I missed out, because there were about 35 to 40 sculptors whom we approached. All of them presented the clay model. And they took up, of course, the process. First they start with the face, and then subsequently the other steps. So they took up, each one of them took about, let's say, 2 months or 3 months. But the difference between Nicola and the others, I come back to that. Like, as I said, all of them were following just the facial contours. He understood if he has to, he needs to understand the biography of the saint as well. If he were to capture the compassionate face of the saint in his sculpture, which is so important in holy sculpture, because it's all about spelling out the positivity, faith, and belief that he sees in the followers. So for that purpose, he visited, and he had taken all the inputs and made sketches for his reference. We were surprised, because as we were giving him all these inputs, he was just drawing. He was busy with his notepad and everything. So later we came to know like he was drawing sketches. So in short, the vision and the approach of Sethi is completely unmatched. So obviously, as mentioned earlier, he took about 6 months. Not just for the face. He almost finished. He took let's say 2 to 3 months. But from his side, he decided to give us the real size clay model, which we didn't even ask for. So even today, after having completed the clay model, and as I said, the big presentation was held to admire that, and that marked the beginning of the accolation of this project as masterpiece of 21st century. Even today, while he's working with the marble sculpture, if anyone visits his studio, one will find all the modern technology in place, like robotic machines and many other things. And then he understands for this project, robots could do just about 25 to 30% of the work, because he's not creating the replica, but the original work of carving the posthumous sculpture with the immense challenge of following up with just one photograph. So yes, as you said, what sets Nicola Sethi stand out from all others, it's just because of his approach, which he followed up differently. And today is the result. Like, we are here discussing this colossal sculpture, or the masterpiece of 21st century.
Thanks, Robin. Before opening up the floor, to everybody who has joined us, and thank you so much. I want to do this. By my profile photo, I actually took the current state, the photo of the marble sculpture in its current state. I put that as my profile photo. Robin, since it's there, can you point out, use that photo, because on Clubhouse you don't get to see anything else. Can you make a few comments using that photo, please? Robin, are you there?
Yeah, sorry. If you see the photograph of the saint, or the work of Nicola, that is the marble. And by the way, let me tell you, it's not yet complete. It's just about, let's say, around 60%, 65% of work done. Still 30 to 35 is pending. So if you see the traditional garb which the saint is wearing, the attire, it is not easy for an Italian artist to understand the Indian traditional wear, which was one of the biggest challenge. While he was doing the clay model also. So the folds which you see on the traditional attire, and most importantly, If you notice closely, this sculpture is being done in contraposed stance in sitting profile, which has never been done before. And because in that, the saint could be seen leaning more towards the right-hand side. And then the artist has to imagine the resting muscles on the other side, and the effect, the ripple effect that will give on the traditional garb which the saint is wearing. So I can understand the photo might not be clear in this profile pic, but if you see clearly, you will find all those folds and everything. So, but as I said, and the face is lot to do, a lot of work to be done with the face. So, I mean, obviously, after the completion, you will see what we mean by the compassion which he captured on the face and the clay model, and soon we'll get it on the marble sculpture as well. So, yeah, if we see the folds and the traditional wear, that is quite evident now. But still, more than 35% work is left. So, on completion, it will surely be the wonder. And for that reason, we are inviting all the admirers of art across the globe to visit Sethi studio, because none of us have seen the working of Michelangelo while he was sculpting Peter. Find the challenges which he would have faced. But here we have the opportunity to see another masterpiece in the making and just see what the challenges the artist has to go through. So that is the little description about the photograph, what the audience can get with your profile picture. But otherwise, for all the detailing, anyone can see my Instagram profile, and the detail of which is given in my bio. So you'll have many more such photograph, even including the clay model. I just try to put that clay model on my profile pic, but I know somehow it's not uploading. So I'll try that again. Yeah, sir.
Great, thank you very much, Robin. One more thing before we open up the floor, and for that matter, we will stop recording as well for folks to be more comfortable. I would like to invite Ina again. Thank you, Ina, for joining us. Is it possible to ask you to share with us the poem that you had written on this occasion regarding this work?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Hong. And I would just like to, before I share this, to express that this poem actually describes what I felt, or perhaps what I experienced when I saw the sculpture of the Holy Saint. And it is titled Prameshwar the Infinite. How can one describe a moment self-contained? Mere words cannot articulate that which cannot be explained. Words have not the power to express the gentle essence of a sacred, pure, and holy feeling in his loving presence. Time keeps ticking on, each moment never ending. The resurrection of his love was cast back in the beginning. Resting deep within the mountain, carved from countless days now past, his sacred love has now revealed, returned to us at last. Tales of love and inspiration lead us to the sacred day, with endless moments toiling as time slowly melts away. The mountain bears her soul to birth a stone creation, a labor of her love for him, divine, holy perfection. He reigns in perfect harmony, his love a gift complete, a light forever shining for all the world to see. Beloved Prameshwar, the infinite, your grace, may your divine and Holy Spirit rest forever in this place. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ina.
Very beautiful.
So Ina is a poet, clearly, as you know here, and a writer and author, and she's also a philanthropist and humanitarian. So Ina has founded the Something About Love Foundation in LA, and her assertion is the purpose of life is love, and just wanted you to know, and thank you, Ina, for joining us and sharing with us your experience of having seen the work. I just wanted to mention to everyone, Robin has shared the clay model with his profile photo as well, so you can take a look. By the way, at this time, I think we have introduced the background on this, and I want to open up the floor. And with that, I think as we open up the floor, we probably are going to also stop the recording as well. So let me refresh the room at this stage. So we open up the floor to everyone. This is the Asian Americans Network room on Clubhouse. We serve Asian Americans as well as anybody who has interest in Asian culture, as well as has worked with Asians or are planning to work with Asians. And we meet every week on Tuesday to share our stories and make connections and support each other. Folks who find ways to do business together are welcome to do so. With that, I'd like to ask my co-moderator Sethi to reset the room, and then we open up the room. Thank you.
Thank you, Hong. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Asian American Network. So now we open Q&A session. Please feel free to raise your hand if you have any question or if you want to echo and make the comments. So we will invite you to the stage. Please follow us by clicking the green house beside the club logo.